All right, folks. Well, welcome to today's Maximum Performance webinar series. Again, this is a program we launched back in middle of October to create a community of learning online, and those people who invest time in themselves to grow and perfect their skill, their art, and their practice, how we help reach people and make a difference in the industries and communities in which we work. Today's presenter I'm very, very pleased that we were able to get Michael Maher on for today's program. Those of you who do not know Mr. Maher yet, I've had the great privilege and honor of having spent some time with Mr. Maher over the previous years. He was part of our coaching team from 2007 through 2009 and has gone on to much bigger and greater things. We all, as coaches, learned a ton from Michael being part of our team during those years, and I was very pleased and excited to be able to bring him back to today's series because I know he's got a ton of information. In fact, I don't think an hour is enough time for Michael to share all the amazing ideas and tools that he has for you. Today's program is really focused on some key skills to be able to connect and develop relationships, to convert them into referrals, and to build a referral-based business. So he's going to share some wonderful ideas with you that you're going to be able to implement immediately that will significantly increase the value and growth and reach that you have in your community. Of course, since leaving Maximum Acceleration, Mr. Maher has become a #1 international best-selling author of the book 7L, From Relationships to Referrals. He's also the father of the Generosity Generation, which is an exciting program he'll tell you a little bit more about through the course of today's program. But most importantly, he is the North America's most referred realtor. So I'm privileged, honored, humbled, and excited to bring Michael Maher to our audience today. And with that, Michael, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you kind of take the ball and run with it today.
Wow, what a great introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you and Christy for doing such a wonderful job of putting this together and working with my schedule. And I know that's the biggest challenge in the world these days. And I just have to say, super professional. And look at all those people on the attendee list. Are you kidding me? You know how to pull the people, and I definitely appreciate that on all regards. And I want to jump right into this. I'm an implementer. I tend to speak fast, so I don't know if that'll drive you nuts or you'll love it. But I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. In the middle, we're going to take a breath, take questions and answers. And then we're going to go through the last key at the end, and I want to make sure that we have time to cover all three keys to referral development. So the very first thing that I want you to do is I want you to post this on Facebook right now, right? And now here's the thing. I've got an audience view meter here, and I know that's going to go down. I want you to be at 100% for the entire presentation, except for this part, because you are going to have to leave the webinar for a few seconds to do this. Now, the way to do this is you could type that in, and it's going to take you a while. But what I would like you to do is, Eric, great, thank you so much, Eric. Eric has actually posted this in the chat window. I want you to copy and paste that on Facebook right now. And then what we're going to do is at the end, we're going to check on your results. You may, and we have had over 400 people in the last year, you may get a referral before the end of this presentation on referrals. Have you ever done that before? Probably never. But we have had over 400 referrals exchanged just by posting this during our presentation. People are actually getting referrals in the comment section and getting people Facebook messaging them referrals just because of this one post. Now, I'm going to go to the next slide. We're going to move on. Eric has put that in the chat session already for you so that you can copy and paste that as your Facebook status update right now. It doesn't matter if you do it on business or personal. It'll work better on personal, but here we go. Trust me. So here's the deal, right? How many of you are caring people, right? Raise your hand right now if you're caring. Yeah, absolutely. You are caring, you're honest, you have integrity, you have high character, correct? Right? Now here's the other part. How many of you do your job really well? Raise your hand if you think you do your job really well, like you're highly competent, right? So everybody's raising their hand right now. So you have high character, you do the right things, right? You do the right thing, and you're also highly competent. You do things right. So you do the right thing and you do things right. So why aren't you getting at least one referral from every single person you know? Have you ever wondered that? Now, don't you think they should refer you? And have you ever wondered, why am I not getting a referral from every single person that knows me? And here's what I'm going to do. The answer to this question is literally worth millions of dollars. Right off the bat, I'm going to give you $1 million answer. Because here's the deal. I want you to think about this for a second before I reveal this answer. Let's say you have 200 people in your database, right? 200 people in your database.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, Web Events Made Easy.
So let's say you have 1,000 people in your database, 1,000 people, right? And let's say they all give you one referral, right? Just one, right? Just a one. Right? So you've got, how many referrals is that? That's 1,000 referrals. Now, first of all, how would your life change if you were getting 1,000 referrals a year? Okay, so think about that for a second. Now, here's the second thing. What's your average commission on each closing? So those referrals and they close, what would you earn let's say it's $1,000, right? So what is 1,000 times 1,000? Now this is just with a 1,000-person database. A lot of you have far bigger databases. And this is only $1,000 alone or closing, and I know most of you are making more than that, right? So 1,000 times 1,000, listen to this. The answer to this question is worth $1 million every single year. You need to know why your friends, your family members, your coworkers, the people in your networking group, all these different people aren't referring you. And the number one reason is perceived indifference. Perceived indifference. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know, first of all, I'm going to tell you what they don't know. They don't know how high your character is. They don't know how highly competent you are. They don't know that. They also don't know that you want and need referrals. They don't know that. So not only do they not know those four things, that you're high character, that they may know that you're a good person, right? But they may not know how good, like how highly competent you are, how high of character you are, and get this, like that you want and need their referrals, because you're probably telling them business is great, oh my gosh, business is booming, blah, 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 right? Here's the other thing they don't know. They don't know how and who to refer you. They don't know how to refer you. They don't even, if they knew the how, they would do it, right? And they don't know who to refer you. If they knew who to refer you, they would do it. Come on. Anybody you know has a neighbor who is refinancing today, right? There are people's neighbors today who are refinancing, right? Jumbo loan rate, are you kidding me with that rate? That's a phenomenal rate. Who do you know that's in a jumbo neighborhood, right? That may have a jumbo loan. They know people who are getting refinanced today at this rate, period. And I know it's all about purchase, and I'm going to help you with purchase. But the truth is they're going to refinance through somebody that might as well refinance through you, right? So we have to overcome perceived indifference, and I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? Here's how we overcome perceived indifference. Give. Now, I'm not going to stop there, right? How many of you have told to be a giver, right? Woohoo! How many of you are givers, right? And everybody raises their hand. But here's the thing. Are you reactive or proactive with your giving? Do you give like to the tsunami people after they get wiped out? Do you give to Hurricane Sandy survivors after the storm, right? Or are you a proactive giver? Do you give up front? Do you give each and every day to people who haven't suffered a catastrophe, right? Give massive value first. That's how you overcome perceived indifference. Give massive value first. First. Key number one is give massive value first. Oh, but that's scary, Michael. That makes me nervous. Like, what if they don't give back? Okay, I'm going to tell you something. First of all, don't worry about it. Second of all, I want to tell you what typically happens, right? And this relationship scale has gone viral. There are tons of people who are using this. It's starting to get into psychology classes and so on and so forth. And here's the relationship scale, right? You've got the people you've never met. They're a 0 on this scale. You have people you meet who you just don't have chemistry with, right? And they go 1 through 3 on the relationship scale. And they're just people you just don't relate to. And then 4 through 7 is your cordial and friendly zone, 4 through 7. And then an 8 is a client, somebody who has entrusted you with their financial future, somebody who has trusted you with their money. And then you have a 9, which is a champion, and a 10, which is an ambassador, right? And I want you to know that the referral zone is the 9 and the 10. And let me give you a quick shopping experience of how these are different, right? For the 0, you're wheeling your cart, you're wheeling it down the aisle, and you just, you blur right by them, right? Because you don't know them. Now, if you see a 1 through 3, a no chemistry, right? You go like this. You go, oh. You see them across the room, and you actually wheel your cart to try not to run into them, right? And then you've got the 4 through 7, which is you're wheeling your cart, and you see them, and you pick up your hand, and you wave. You go, hey, how's it going? And they go, hey, fine. And you continue going, right? And here's the thing, right, is that's life right there. We typically meet somebody and build the relationship to the point where we'll either drink beer with them or we won't. Okay, is that too blunt? Is that too harsh reality? And you're probably thinking, I don't drink beer. Okay, it's just an example. But the truth is, there are people we either hang out with or we won't. There are people who, and I want you to really write this down, get this, is there are people who we don't want to spend 3 minutes with, right? And then there are people who we do want to spend 3 minutes with, and then there are people who we don't want to spend 3 hours with. You know who I'm talking about, right? And then there are people who we would love to spend 3 hours with. And then there are people who we could never, ever spend a 3-day weekend with, right? And you know who they are. Right? You've had these 3-day weekends with them, and you'll never do it again. And then there are people who you would love and you enjoy spending a 3-day weekend with, right? And then there are those people who you would never go on a 3-week vacation with, ever, never, right? And then there are people who you would gladly go on a 3-week vacation, and you wouldn't be ready to tear your hair out or tear them up at the end of 3 weeks, right? So the key here is you need to know who those people are. The people who you would spend 3 weeks with, you need to hold them close and dearly. Now, here's where this gets good, right? To go back to the shopping experience. Now, I told you about never met, no chemistry, and cordial and friendly. Right now, I want you, this is the shopping experience. You see an ambassador at the checkout line. Whatever you're doing, whatever aisle you are on, you are going to step out of that aisle, and you are going to go over to the checkout line, and you're going to go, Jeff, oh my gosh, how are you doing? Things are, oh, it looks like you've got supplies here for a week or so for your family. You know what? Let me take care of that for you. Swipe the card, hug, they leave. That, my friends, is an ambassador. That's the difference, right? What you need to learn how to do is build people right to the referral zone as fast as possible. Momentum matters, right? Momentum matters. What we do too often is it's like, I'll either drink beer with them or not, and we stop there, and you've got this balanced, this homeostatic relationship, which means there's no energy to it, right? What we want are harmonic relationships, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Harmonic. Harmonic means there's energy, right? Up, down, up, down. There's energy to it, right? And when it's down, it's you're receiving. When it's up, you're giving, right? Or vice versa maybe for you. Maybe when you're receiving, it's up, the relationship energy's up, and when you're giving, the relationship energy's down. Whatever works for you, right? But this is a critical key number one, is to give massive value first, right? So what you want to do is you want to create the steps that will create massive momentum from the very beginning. Create a relationship momentum system. So I'll give you one quick one, right? And you're going, okay, relationship momentum system sounds so like, oh my God, that's going to be a lot of work. Listen, here's one. Okay, it's called the 333. It's 3 things that you can do 3 minutes that will give you 3 days of momentum. Are you open to that? Okay, I'll give that at the end of this webinar. I'm just kidding. I'm going to give it to you now. 333 is this, okay? The 333 is you meet with somebody, which that's a no-brainer, right? You're going to start building these relationships by meeting them one-on-one, of course. Then, as soon as they walk out, you're going to do 3 things. The first thing you're going to do is either text or email them, thank you. You're just going to say, thank you for your time. I really appreciated it. And maybe you want to drop some nugget that you got from them during the session, right? So thank you so much. It's clear how professional you are. I really enjoyed our conversation about referrals. Thank you so much, right? So email or text, whatever works better for you. And then the second thing that you're going to do, listen to this, is you are going to call their office. You're going to call their office. And you're going, okay, I'm calling their office, but they're not there. And I want you to know something. That's the point. It's not going to take you any time to do this. But you're going to call their office. Now, as an aside, you may want to look up slide dial. It's 1267 slide dial is the number. But with slide dial, you can actually call any mobile phone and go directly to voicemail and not actually talk to the person, right? So look up slide dial. But here's the thing. Let's say they have an office phone that is not their mobile phone. You're going to call, and you're going to say the exact same thing you said in the text. Hey, I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed meeting you today. It was so good to understand more about your financial planning business and what you're doing to help people build wealth. And I just have to say, I'm so glad that Jenny referred me to you, because I just really enjoyed today's meeting. Thank you so much. Remember, just give me a call when you have a chance, 913-287-HOME, or whatever, right? So you're going to call, leave a message, and then the third thing you're going to do is you're going to write them a handwritten note. Now, I prefer that you write a power note, which is in my book, and I teach more about in Boost, but you're going to write a handwritten note. So here's the thing. When do they get the text message or the email, right? Probably immediately. When do they get the voicemail, right? Hours later, whatever it may be. And then when do they get the handwritten note? They get the handwritten note maybe 3 days later, right? So how powerful would that be if they receive that? They receive the text or the email, they receive the voicemail, and they receive the handwritten note. And notice, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm coming on too strong, too fast. But you have to realize they're not getting all these things at the same time. They're getting the text, the voice message, and then the handwritten note. I want you to know, at that point, you have exhibited excellence in relationship building, and you are already 10 times more referable than you were before the meeting. So that's the 333. Now, I've got a couple others here that drop the F-bomb, right? So everybody drop the F-bomb right now. Just kidding. Eric just passed out. Drop the F-bomb. The F-bomb, the F word in business is follow-up. Okay, so an F-bomb, just so you know, is described more in my book, and it's just a series of follow-up things, right? Promotional pieces and postcards and phone calls and contacts. It's a series of touches. Then number 3 is follow-up forever. If you don't have a drip campaign, you all have a drip campaign. So bottom line is you want to put them on a drip campaign that is educational. And I prefer success stories, which you can learn the 7 steps to a successful success story in the book. So now, how do we give massive value first, right? The way to give massive value first is to have a momentum system, but when you're sitting there, how do you know what to give, right? And I want to give you the 3.5 most powerful referral-generating questions of all time. These questions will generate referrals for you, okay? So the first question, and normally what I would do is I would go through these and I would have you answer them as I go, and then at the end you would be like, I want to marry Michael Maher, right? And you're like, I love this guy. I love that he helped me solve the problem right here. But in this case, I'm just going to give you the 3.5 most powerful referral-generating questions at the end of the webinar. I'm just kidding. I'm going to give them to you now. Now, what is your biggest challenge right now? That's what you're going to ask somebody on the phone or when you're meeting with them one-on-one, okay? Now, what is your biggest challenge right now? Number 2 is, okay, so what have you tried? Eric, Eric, are you on the line?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you something, okay? Let me ask you, and be honest with me, and I know you're strong enough to have this conversation like we're in the room together, and you're not bothered by the 1,001 people that are on the webinar. You're going to be able to focus, right? So let me ask you,
Correct.
like what is your biggest challenge right now?
One word: capacity. Being able to help all the people that we want to be able to help. There's not enough time and not enough coaches on team right now.
Okay. So capacity is your biggest challenge right now. Capacity and leverage, right. It sounds like, right?
A little bit.
So what have you tried so far? What have you tried so far to overcome your capacity challenge?
Well, we hired a new coach who starts this week, and we are going to be starting a mastermind program for our active coaching clients to be able to give more time, more value, and in a more leveraged environment, collaborating with other successful professionals.
I love it. So you've hired somebody to help with the capacity, right? And so
right.
Let me ask you this. So what are you going to do next? Like to conquer your capacity challenge, what are you going to do next? What's your first next step?
Scheduling and promoting the webinars, the mastermind. It'll be a web-based mastermind program to our active clients. That's going to be
so you're going to leverage technology?
Up and running.
So you're going to leverage technology, okay. So you can leverage people, systems, or technology, right? And you've leveraged people you've hired. You've leveraged systems with some of your Max Excel systems. And now you're going to leverage technology more, right? You help more people in one fell swoop. And, okay, so let me ask you this. So by when? When are you going to have this technology up and leveraged and ready to go?
By the end of the week.
By the end of this week. What's the date?
Let's see. That would be March 8th.
March 8th. You know what? That is a phenomenal date to get this done by. It's a phenomenal. That is a big day. So March 8th. And then is there a certain time on Friday that you'll have this technology up and leveraged?
Before I hang up for the day.
Do what?
Before I leave the office. Before I leave the office for the day.
Yeah, what time do you normally?
What time? I do Friday afternoon. It'll be done.
Okay, and so what time do you typically leave the office?
Usually around 5 on Fridays.
5 on Fridays? Okay, yeah, you've got a great family and you go home and spend time with your family, right? Do you mind?
Right.
Do you mind if I call you at Friday at 5 Central?
Not at all.
Okay. Siri, please set up a reminder.
I don't see you within your address book. Should I look for businesses by that name?
Reminder, call Eric Janesco at 5 p.m. Central on Friday.
So you guys heard what he just did, right? Now I'm
Done.
going to be accountable.
Yeah, you are. All right. So those are the. Now here's the deal. So okay. So did that help? Did having that clarity of having it done by Friday help?
Yes.
Okay. And when somebody helps you, what do you typically say?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
Absolutely. And what do you typically want to do?
Well, definitely want to help you back. So
Yeah. So what would you say? Yeah. And you know what, Eric?
Well,
I want you to know that I can move. I want you really to get this. I can move anyone anywhere. I can help anyone anywhere. So when you have somebody moving that you know from Denver, Colorado to Dallas, Texas, I want you to know I can help that person in Denver, Colorado get the best listing agent to make sure that they're going to sell fast and get most money. And then I'm going to get the best agent in Dallas to help them on the buy side, some master negotiator and master listener who's going to make sure that their financial investment in Dallas is the right financial investment. So I just want you to know I can move anyone anywhere. I can help anyone anywhere. Does that make sense?
awesome.
Absolutely. Perfect. So these are the 3.5 most powerful referral generating questions of all time. What you want to do is help someone at such a level that they want to reciprocate and help you back, right? Now, does everybody I meet with reciprocate by saying, how can I help you? No, not necessarily. But I will tell you the more value that I provide, the more likely that's going to happen. And listen to this statement. Listen to this statement. I want you to know the higher up the food chain, like Eric Janesco and Renee Rodriguez and up the food chain, the higher and the more successful the people are you're meeting with, the faster they go to how can I help you, what can I do for you. Isn't that interesting? So if they're really fast and on the ball to saying that, shouldn't we be on our way up the food chain? The answer is absolutely. Absolutely. So the 3.5 most powerful referral generating questions of all, they will thank you. They will ask, how can I help you? The key is be ready to answer that question. Answer the question. Please don't say, don't worry about it. Because let me tell you something, they won't. And you missed an opportunity. When they ask, how can I help you, you have an answer for them. Please heed this next message. Train people to reciprocate with referrals, right? The finest way to thank me is with referrals. You know what? When you run into someone who needs real estate services, please send them my way. If you have a friend or neighbor looking to move, please let me know. And then the one I just did, which is my stand pat answer, like when I'm caught off guard, remember, I can move anyone anywhere. I can help anyone anywhere. So here's, and listen, I wanted to spend some time on key number 1. Key number 2 is going to be short and sweet, and then we're going to get some questions going. And here's the thing is all right, so they gave you a referral, and is why not you again, right? They gave you a referral. Haven't you ever wondered why they don't give you the second referral? Why don't they give you the second referral? Why doesn't every single referral source give you another one? And I'm going to give you that answer, right? Now, what have I done here, right? What has my research done? My research and my own implementation and success has shown, okay, I want to take, you've noticed what question number 1 did, right? I took them from 0, they're not referring me, to a 1, just 1. I want them to give me 1 referral. Just give me a shot, please. I'm begging you. Just give me 1 shot with somebody you know. And that's overcoming perceived indifference. I've got to show them that I care, that I have high character, and that I'm highly competent, and I need to communicate with them, right? Now, they have referred me, right? Now what I want to do is I want to take all these 1s that have given me a shot, and I want to move them to a 2, right? Just a 2. Now, how much is it worth if I take everybody in that 1,000-person database from a 1 to a 2 in referrals? 1,000 times 1,000? It's $1 million. That's another $1 million per year if I can just take them from a 1 to a 2. Now, I want you to know, first of all, it's easier to take them from a 0 to a 1. I'm sorry, it's easier to take them from a 1 to a 2 than it is to take them from a 0 to a 1, right? But once we get them to a 1, then we want to get them to a 2. And the number one reason that doesn't happen, we got to know this. And this, listen, I know I'm preaching to the choir. You're the best of the best. It's awesome. And so here is the answer. The number one reason you aren't getting the second referral from every single referral source is lack of expressed appreciation. Now, what is the key word there, right? You might think the key word's appreciation, but are you appreciative when you get a referral? The answer is absolutely you're appreciative, but what we forget to do is express it, right? We forget to express our appreciation through handwritten notes, voicemail, phone calls, one-on-ones, whatever it may be, right? So now listen, I'm in the same boat. Are there referrals that I've gotten that I have forgotten or screwed up or whatever where I haven't expressed appreciation to the point where I should have? And it still happens, right? But here's the thing. The awareness of this has made me much more conscious about expressing my appreciation and being really good at it, right? So what we need to do is key number 2 is give massive appreciation. Now, I don't mean spending a lot of money. I mean expressing it verbally and through handwritten notes in a way they know you appreciate referrals, right? Express verbally. So listen, first and foremost, regardless of what happens with this referral, thank you. Thank you for thinking of me, right? Now, we don't have time to go into the Great Retrace. Some of you know the Great Retrace very well. Some of you don't. It's explained in 7L, the book, and the audio, and it's really gone in depth in Boost, which we'll talk about later. Now, express in a handwritten note. Use this sentence in your note, right? Please know that your support, confidence, and trust are very much appreciated. What people will do is they will rise and fall to your expectations. So when you say, please know that your support, confidence, and trust are very much appreciated, what you're saying is that you support them, you have confidence in them, and you trust them. Okay? What you're saying is they are supportive. They are confident in you, and they trust in you. What you're doing is you're actually concretizing, you're actually firming up those 3 things in their behavior. Now, an above and beyond is the 7 steps to a power note, which once again we don't have time to cover in here, but is explained in the book and in Boost. And then the other one is the number one way that I give massive appreciation to my ambassadors is I express with time, which if I could go through the communication plan, I could show you how I do that automatically and systematically. Once again, we don't have time for that, but you have the time to express with time, which means meet with them one-on-one. When somebody refers you, make it like a habit that the referral source gets some kind of one-on-one time with you. At the very least, make sure they have a one-on-many time with you, which means an event, right? Which is the second level of the 7 levels of communication. So, oh, by the way, people have been asking, like, where you get these. So here's the deal. The book's $29.95 retail, and I want you to know that it's just $20 today, okay? So now, when you go to 7lsystem.com, you're going to notice that there is a certain price on the book, right? It says $29.95. I want you to know that I send you the book, and I send you a check for $9.95, okay? Yeah, it's weird. Don't worry about it. Now, $49.95, and then the site, 7lsystem.com, it's $25. I want you to know both of these are #1 international bestsellers. The audio book has a ton of bonus materials on it, and you can listen to it in the convenience of your car while you're doing car college, or as Zig Ziglar called it, automobile university. My car does not move without two things. One is gas in the tank, and number two is a CD in the CD player, period. I truly believe that you can improve with every drive. So today it's just $20 for the book. Today it's just $25 for the audio. And you can go to 7lsystem.com and then go to shop there to get that. And then also, we talked about, when is now the time for you to get Michael J. Maher's $1 million communication plan. I did not have a business plan. I did not have a marketing plan in my 3rd year of real estate. I didn't have a clue, right? I did business my first year, like, randomly, by accident. Second, okay? In my 3rd year, I netted $1 million, actually $996,000. And I grossed $1.4 million. So I did that in my 3rd year without a business plan, without a marketing plan, but I did have a communication plan. Now, with this, you're going to get intensive database marketing training. You're truly going to get referral mastery, not like beginning referral business. And then have your database in perfect order. Have a prospecting schedule set up for all of this year. Automated, right? Have fun prospecting. Have your schedule time blocked for the rest of 23 to maximize your referral generation. Have a positive, powerful demeanor and a plan to stay that way. And then listen to this. How would you feel to have absolutely no anxiety about where your next lead, your next closing, your next referral, your next dollar was coming from? Yeah, peace, right? You would feel at peace. You could just go to work and have fun. And then how would you like to get a referral each and every day? Yes, every day. The goal of Boost is to get a referral every day. And I noticed that we posted 7lsystems.com. It's actually 7lsystem.com. There's no S on the end. The 7L system is a system of systems, just so you know. So, it's the all-new and improved Boost. It's 4 90-minute webinar training sessions, just so you know. Okay? So it's 4 90-minute webinar training sessions, and we do them weekly. So in April, they're on Tuesdays, April 9th, April 16th, April 23rd, April 30th, and it's 4 to 5:30, and that is Central Time, I believe. It's Eastern Time, excuse me, Eastern Time. And then listen to this. You're like, well, I can't make 4 to 5:30 Eastern. What happens, right? Well, first of all, make it happen. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing is they're recorded for your review. So you can go back, rewind, fast forward, get the material at your own pace. And then you can take this from the convenience of your home or office. It is Boost, the 4 webinar training series. April 9th is the first date. And we've had over 3,800 boosters so far in just the last year and a half. 3,800 boosters. And yeah, so you will master a short phrase that empowers you to know who will give you referrals and who won't. Wouldn't it be nice to know that you're networking with the right people? Who will refer you and help you? Discover the hidden treasures that are in your database that will produce the most amount of referrals. Schedule just a little bit of time each week to call everyone appropriately in your database. Know what to say to every person. Know what to say to every person in your database that will produce referrals without asking for referrals. A couple magic phrases that we teach you. And then possibly get a referral every single day or more every single day. This is an investment in yourself because the knowledge that you get from Boost will stay with you forever. You will be overcoming perceived indifference, and you will be overcoming lack of expressed appreciation with no money out of your pocket. I'm going to show you no money. Listen, this isn't a thing where you take Boost, and in it I teach you about a $10,000 software program, right? You take Boost, and they're all low-cost to no-cost marketing and communication strategies that get you referrals, right? And this is normally just $4.97, but Eric absolutely tackled me and twisted my arm and said, for the Max Excel crew, you've got to give them an off. You got to give them a discount. You got to give them an off. And I said, well, what about $100 off? And he said, Michael, I've known you a long time. I think you can do better than that. And I go, Eric, I love you to death, but no, I can't. But he twisted my arm again.
You're not getting on my webinar if you don't.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have two arms, right? Because he twisted the first arm for 100, and then get this. Seriously, this is a no-brainer. This is the best thing I've ever done. If you've read the book, this is the next step. You've got, and Eric, I sent you a couple testimonials I literally got this morning about Boost. What did they say about Boost? Do you have those?
Just, I mean, absolutely amazing, transformed. I can pull them up and read directly off them. Let's see here. Let me find the message just real quick from you, Michael.
Yeah. So Brian McRae is a lender with First National Bank of St. Louis. He has gone from one of the average loan officers there, and now he is the top producer lender with First National Bank of St. Louis and has a team of 7 and is blowing up in a big way. And so what did he say about Boost?
Brian McRae said, I had read 7L7 several times, but it wasn't until I went through Boost that I understood how the pieces of the system fit together. This program has helped me design a referral-based practice that focuses on the relationships that matter most. The first tactic I implemented from 7L generated over 15 referrals, but at last count had generated over $4 million in loan transactions. That being said, the most incredible part of Boost helped focus me, my desire to grow my relationships, and my desire to serve others is priceless. Brian McRae, First National Bank of St. Louis. Guys, just, by the way, I live in Missouri. Brian, this guy I actually know. I didn't prompt him for this in any way, shape, or form. You can reach out to Brian and ask him directly. This guy's a $40 million a year producer, and he's learning from, he's still learning from programs like Boost and still investing in himself and time and energy to actually implement and execute. As you guys have seen from this webinar, obviously Michael is not only a great presenter and a great sharer of information, but also an incredibly strong coach and accountability partner for people. He obviously does a massive job at getting people off the butts. He did it to me already during this webinar. In fact, I was finding myself, struggling to keep up with the chat and the Q&A stuff while this program has been ongoing because I was taking notes myself. I still invest in Michael and I were just out on a mastermind program last week with our coach, firming up some of the details and reevaluating what we're going to be doing for the coming weeks, months, and years. And it was, this was the same action item that I've decided to do already, but I put it on the someday maybe list, right? Michael just challenged me to actually do it. And now I know he's going to be calling me Friday afternoon, and if I don't do it, I'm going to feel like a complete idiot if I don't. So, yeah, guys, I can't tell you how valuable I think this is going to be for you. Now, keep in mind, we got one more key here. Guys, there are a couple of key questions that have been popping in, and Michael, I'm just going to kind of jump in here. I think we're at a decent transition point. Like I said, we are, Michael has been gracious enough to share this information with you. I want to go ahead and jump to the Q&A section at this time. Yeah. There was one key question that came up that I wanted you to address real quick, Michael, and that is, what do you find, as a top-producing agent, there's a trainer of agents all over the country, what do you find is the best way to reach out and really get the intention of what I call the disengaged buyer, the couple or family that could really benefit from purchasing in this incredible housing opportunity market, but just for whatever reason it's not on their radar? What do we do to try and get their attention and to try and get them to wake up and realize what they're going to be missing out on if they don't get off the button and do something about taking advantage of this first stuff?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's a great question, and my answer may surprise the person who asked that question and the rest of everybody. And that is, listen, it's how to create a sense of urgency in a buyer, right? And here's how you do it, right? It's not going to be anything you say. It's not going to be anything you do. It's going to be how you feel. It's going to be how you feel. If it's not the buyer's sense of urgency that's struggling, right? It's your sense of urgency. If you don't feel like they need to hurry up and get this done, they will never feel that way, ever, right? And honestly, if they're not feeling that way right now, then it's not them, it's you. Right, and I'm just being blunt, and I'm telling you what I've observed and I've seen out there. Notice that when you feel the urge, when you have a sense of urgency, that the others around you feel the sense of urgency. Have you noticed that? When you are speaking fast, you are moving, you are talking, you are doing things in a rapid fire pace, or at the very least you're talking with a sense of urgency and passion, that it will happen, right? People will feel your sense of urgency, and when they feel your sense of urgency, they will get the sense of urgency. Listen, you don't need to tell people that there's going to be multiple offers on a house, right? All you have to do is go, talk, and say, listen, here's the deal. If you like it, make it happen. Somebody saw this yesterday, and they're thinking about it, right? And they're going to make an offer today. So if you can either think about it or you can buy it, right? So, all right, so I've had some questions on how, does that help, Eric? Does that help?
Absolutely, Michael, absolutely.
Our sense of urgency. We have far more control with our mindset, passion, and energy than we think we do, right? It's some people, I see them, and they're like, yeah, I'm really excited about this program, and I'm really looking forward to it. And you're like, you want to go, stop what is the music that is playing in your head? You have got to turn that off and turn on something better. And here's the thing, if you're happy and you know it, tell your face, because your face is not getting the message, buddy. Like, smile, get it up, let's go. So that's my
fun. Well, Michael, you got I know that there's a ton of questions coming through right now about how to get to the Boost program, how to get access to that. By the way, guys, those of you listening on, I'm going to do one quick thing before Michael introduces this. By the way, you guys are getting so much great value of this. Does anybody have a problem if we go maybe 15 minutes long today? I know there's one more critical thing that Michael needs to share with you. It's that third key that we talked about. There's a couple of special announcements I do need to get across to you for those people that need to jump. But Michael, why don't you go ahead and give us real quick just how do people get access to the Boost program? Yeah,
it's important, and my wife just texted me and said that boostapril.com is blowing up. So don't order yet, right? So what you want to do is you're going to go to Boost, B-O-O-S-T, April.com, boostapril.com, and then here's the thing: the magic code is MAXXL, M-A-X-A-C-C-E-L. So let's, if you can make me presenter real quick, Eric, I can actually, or you can, yeah, it doesn't matter. Here's the deal: it's boostapril.com, boostapril.com, and the code is MAXACCEL. It doesn't matter if you go all caps, lowercase, mixed case, whatever it may be. Your code is MAXXL. You will automatically see the $200 that's taken off. I ask that you not share that outside of this webinar. I mean, literally, people pay $4.97 left and right and feel like they got the deal of the century. And this is for Max Excel. This is for you, for taking your precious time and coming on to the webinar today.
And thank you so much to Michael for offering that. I gotta, guys. I mean, he doesn't give that deal to anybody. I mean, trust me. It took me how many 6 weeks of negotiating to get you down to that. So
Yes.
anyway, all right, guys. A couple of quick posts, a couple of quick actions. I do want you to keep posting your questions in the system. Even though we don't have time to get to all of them, I think we'll have time for a couple more. Just a couple of things for those of you who have to jump off right at the hour here. I want to make sure you've got. If you're interested in getting more help or support one-on-one or in a group environment other than the Boost program, if you want some specific, more fine-tuned approach to how to take your business to the next level, implement a lot of the ideas that Michael shared with you, feel free to reach out to our coaching team. We just simply found over the years the best way to help people understand the true value of coaching is experience it. So go to our mxlcoach.com/strategy page, where you can post in the Q&A section of this webinar. We will retain those Q&A as well as, by the way, make sure you post all your questions in there as well, because that will give us the information we need to be able to follow up with you. By the way, if you want to go ahead and post your request for a strategy session, make sure you give us the best phone number and email so that our team can reach out to you and get those appointments scheduled. Follow up, one additional news note upcoming in the series. All of you, if you remember the Cialdini Science and Practice of Influence series, the Maximum Influence series is going to be starting next week on Wednesday the 13th. Which you'll be well underway with that series before Michael's Boost series starts, and we're just about to kick that off. We do have a couple of additional seats available, just a handful, but the earlier discount has been extended through Friday. Use discount code Craig and go to mxlcoach.com/GregFrost. It's a 6-part webinar series with tremendous value, small group program webinar with Greg Frost. As for the rest of the Max Excel Coach webinar series, I'm at www.mxlcoach.com/webinars. Check out the upcoming series, and the next installment of this week's program next week is Coach Earl McLean will be back to do part 2 of Mastering Communication Through Human Behavior, the Trying Brain Theory program. We'll be back next week. So, Michael, why don't you go ahead and kind of finish up that third key that we talked about as we're just kind of wrapping up the program here. If you want to just go ahead and drive it off my screen, I'm going to give you mouse and keyboard right now as well, so you should be able to push slides.
I got it.
And we'll go from there.
Perfect. Well, thanks, everybody, and great information. And Earl McLean just has to be salivating after hearing some of the strategies and quotes and scripts and dialogues that I've been given, because it's definitely a great segue into what he's going to be talking about. Okay, so when is now the time for you to go from having relationships to getting referrals? Once again, we just wanted to make sure that you had the information, audio or hard copy of the book. You can get it at 7lsystem.com, and then go to shop. And then right there, it talks about the book and the audio and audio and some other things that we've got. And then, when is now the time for you to have $1 million communication plan? And to do that, get Boost April. This offer ends today. There are limited seats. We limit our class to 100 because of the way we do it. Realtor referral partners, we've already had several people who've asked questions on that. And the way to get that is boostapril.com and enter code Max Excel. So, and thank you so much, Christy Woods, for helping out there. All right, now so what's the last step, right? So we have key number 1, which is give massive appreciation, or give massive value first. And then we've got step 2, which is when you get a referral, is give massive appreciation, right? Express our appreciation. So what is key number 3? And I have already talked on this on 3 phone calls today, earlier, about how people have taken it to the next level because of this this philosophy, right? So how many of you know Charlie Sheen? Right? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Charlie Sheen. Okay. How many of you have ever heard of Britney Spears? Raise your hand. Seriously, you're in your office. There's nobody around you. Just raise your hand if you've heard of Britney Spears. Right? So you've heard of Britney Spears and Charlie Sheen, and we have gotten to watch them go down a ferocious downward spiral. Have we not? Right? And so why did that happen? How did that happen? And I want to tell you how that happened. What happened is they hit #1, right? Brittany had the #1 album, and Charlie Sheen had the #1 show. And where do you go from #1, right? And what happened is they quit learning. They quit learning. It's like, you know what? I'm at the top. Where else? I mean, what more is there to do? And they went down a downward spiral. I believe that if there is a downward spiral of life, there must be an upward spiral of life. And I want you to imagine a spiral staircase going off into the heavens, right? All the way up and up and up to the next level and next heights. So I want you to think about that spiral staircase, and I want you to think about what that first step has on it. That yellow strip right there has an L on it. And the nice thing about the upward spiral of life is that it spells life. It's an acronym for life. So the first step to get on the upward spiral of life to mastery is learn. So you've learned something today, right? You've heard, you've learned, you've learned something today. Well, if you learn something and you don't take the next step, then you're still at the same step, right? So the next step down here on that yellow strip has an I on it. And that I stands for implement. Implement. Take what you've learned and implement it immediately in a big way, right? Learn, implement. And then on the third step, you know it starts with F, right? Because we're spelling life here. We know, you know that it starts with F. But the answer to this may surprise you. And the third step is for fail. Wow. Learn, implement, fail. Well, I'm maybe not going to be the first person to tell you this, but failing is a part of life, right? And not only that, the only way to fail is if you're implementing. And the only way you're implementing is if you're learning. You learn, implement, fail. And I guarantee you that once you implement any of the things you've covered today or the things that you learned today, you're not going to do it perfectly. I guarantee it. You will fail at some level. You may fail at 90%, right? You may totally botch it. You may fail at 50%, which is you did okay, right? Or you may fail just at 10%, which means you did it 90% correctly, which is phenomenal. Like you're in the top 10% of all people in the world, right? So learn, implement, fail. This is a big one. Now you know what it starts with. That fourth step starts with an E. Well, you learn, implement, fail. What should you do next? You should evaluate. You need to evaluate what you just learned, implemented, and failed. Does it match my values? Does it align with my values? Does it help me achieve my goals? And here's one. Does it feel good? Did what I just did, does it feel good? You may call expireds, call expireds, call expireds. You may even get one or two that want to meet with you. But at the end, you evaluate and you go, you know what, it just didn't feel good. It just didn't feel good. Well, maybe you learn something else, implement something else, fail at some level at something else, and then evaluate something else. But I want you to know the key. Do you know what's on the fifth step? What letter is on the fifth step? The letter L. The sixth is I. The seventh is F. The eighth is E. You know, you learn again. But are you learning at the same level? Are you implementing at the same level? Are you failing at the same level? And are you evaluating at the same level? The answer is absolutely not. You're learning, implementing, failing, and evaluating at a higher level. And then you're going to learn, implement, fail, evaluate again. And then you're going to learn, implement, evaluate again. And what happens is you get to the point where you're failing at top 3% in the world, and all of a sudden people call you the biggest success in the world, and all you did was fail more. Isn't that interesting? So the key number 3 is get on the upward spiral of life. Take what you've learned today and implement it with the knowledge that you are going to fail, and then you're going to evaluate it to see if it matches your values, aligns with your values, or helps you achieve your goals. It's been a blessing to be here today. Thank you so much, Eric, and I apologize for going a little bit late. I know we started a little bit late. I had this planned for an hour. But the bottom line here is that I'm very, very appreciative of this opportunity, and what you're doing for the housing industry is phenomenal. You and Christy have put together a great program, and I'm excited about the future for you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. And guys, you know, if you take to heart what Michael just shared with you as this third key, which is you do it again and again and again in repetition. You know, I usually close out these webinars with one final step of actions, which is, you know, this putting it in play process. You guys, if you haven't been on one of our webinars before, you know, you guys have now invested an hour of your time, okay, plus a little bit. You've already shown that you're leaders in your industry. You're the top 1%ers in life. You actually take the time to do something like this, to invest your time in learning and growing and perfecting your skills. But knowledge without action is useless. It doesn't matter how well you understand or believe or get or even could think through and come up with new and creative ideas. If you don't put them in action in your business on a daily basis, it's going to be absolutely worthless to you. So my last challenge to all of you is take those 3 key referral questions, the 3.5 best referral questions, and do that for yourself right now. Decide what is the one most executable idea that you found from today's program. Just one. You can always come back and pick up the other 100 of ideas that Michael just shared with you off the recording, guys. But pick that one action you want to take first. Second is decide specifically how you're going to take advantage of that idea in your daily business. What is the next most important action you need to take to get to the next level of implementation here? Third is, just like Michael shared with me and he's going to do for me, is ask yourself, by when are you going to have that action implemented? And be specific about it. Set a target for completion. That's a solid deadline that you're reasonably sure you can hit. The fourth key, though, that makes the implementation work is who are you going to hold accountable. Whether it's a friend, a spouse, a colleague, or somebody like that, find somebody who you care enough about and are going to feel crummy about not keeping your promise to, and ask them to follow up with you, just like Michael did for me earlier in today's webinar. Find out who you're going to commit to and tell them what you plan on doing and ask them to follow up with you. You can turn around and do that for your business development partners as well. You can do that for, by the way, there's, you know, one thing I love about what Michael shared with all of you today is, you know, he calls it the upward spiral. I call it the giving and taking side of life. There's a balance beam that we walk on every single day. Are we on the taking side or the giving side? So even reframing how we think about things. For example, I don't call them referrals anymore. I call them service opportunities. For another example, I don't call them referral partners. If I'm going to go out and build a relationship with a real estate agent, a financial planner, a CPA, an accountant, an HR director for a large employer in my community, I don't call them referral partners anymore. I call them business development partners. How can we as a team push more together than we put apart and work to make a difference in our community and reach out to those folks who are disenfranchised and disconnected from how incredible the housing opportunity we're looking at and we're right in the middle of right now. Guys, there's so many incredible ideas out of today's program. I know I'm going to be replaying this one over and over and over again. Michael, if there's anything else I can do to help you, I guess one more thing I'll throw out to it. There was a couple of questions in here people had asked about you know, offering boosts to their realtors, to referral partners, or doing it in large group settings. If you guys don't know or are not aware, Michael obviously loves to come out and do live presentations. He's a phenomenal speaker, even better than he was on today's webinar. If you see him live, your audience is going to be completely blown away. I encourage you to reach out to Michael and talk to him about what it would look like to put together a small group event or even a fairly large group event in your community, and to work with Michael can even help you leverage bringing in some additional business development partners to help you with that project. Just give him a shout. You know, talk to him about what he can do to help you and take that audience to the next level. Final thing about the rest of the compliance issues that were addressed during today's program. You know, by the way, the best answer and the safest bet I can come up with as far as keeping yourself out of trouble with the rest of the police on the whole referral issue, buy the program yourself, encourage them to buy it, both of you go through the Boost program and then schedule a specific time for the two of you to sit down and go over how the two of you are going to implement it together. That way you're going to be completely compliant. They're going to get the information firsthand, same as you, and then you know how to execute it in the market, in the community, as a team, off the heels of that event.
Here's the thing on that too, is if you're considering that, go ahead and email me at joingengen@gmail.com. We have several compliant ways to make this happen, and all of them are super RESPA compliant and make the mortgage person look like an absolute hero. So.
Okay. Michael, there was one quick question here that popped up, and I'm not sure what's going on. There was a comment here, if you wouldn't mind having your team check the website. It looks like the www.7lsystem.com website does not appear to be bringing up your system in the search engine. If you could just, if that's the correct website.
If they put an S at the end, it will not. That is correct. It's 7L, so number 7, letter L, system, ending in a M.com, so 7L system. The 7L system is a system of systems, so it's just 7lsystem.com. I just went to it and it worked fine.
It works. Okay, so maybe just try, the person who made that comment, go ahead and maybe refresh your browser or try a different web browser like Google Chrome instead of Internet Explorer or something like that. See if it's an alternate browser, or clear your cache if you know what that means. All right, guys, well, it's been an amazing program today. Thank you all for hanging in with us a little extra. Any of you who would like to get additional posts, questions. By the way, thank you again one more time to our presenter, Mr. Michael Maher. Amazing job today, Michael. Here's the information you guys need to be able to get a hold of his systems, www.7lsystem.com. We'll get you into the book and the audio program. If you're interested in checking out the more in-depth 4-part workshop webinar program that he's going to be doing in April, go to boostaprile.com. Get the information. Those of you who'd like information from Maximum Acceleration with one of the coaches directly, you can go to the mxlcoach.com/strategy to request one of the strategy sessions, or go ahead and post it right now in the Q&A section. We'll leave the platform open for just a few more minutes here, guys, so that you have an opportunity as you kind of take 30 seconds to think through your action items here, and to decide before you jump into the next phone call, before you read the next email, finish deciding exactly how you're going to utilize this information and what you're going to do to get it going to the next level. We're going to leave this platform open for just a few more minutes for everybody to be able to go ahead and log in additional questions that you'd like answered, and to make sure that myself, Michael, our team, will be able to get back to you and get all of those questions, concerns, issues, thoughts answered, and make sure you get the information to implement these incredibly powerful strategies. Guys, I mean, raise your hands if you think Michael did an amazing job today, and if you're extremely excited about what he's going to help you do over the coming weeks, months, and years. All right. So hopefully you'll see that little visual applause there, Michael. Thank you so much for the program. If you have any other final comments to share, go ahead at this time.
You know what? I just want to express my appreciation for the mortgage professionals specifically, giving this information and having them go out to the market, not only to implement it, but also to teach it is an incredible service. And quite honestly, this is going to produce referrals just if they teach this to real estate agents, teach it to their team, and teach it to others. It's a very benevolent way to generate a lot of business. Generosity leads to reciprocity. Reciprocity leads to referrals. Referrals lead to profitability. And as we all know, profitability leads to prosperity. And prosperity leads to more generosity. So the cycle continues. So I just say go out there, lead with generosity, lead with generosity, lead with generosity, and welcome to the generosity generation.
Definitely, guys. Well, Mr. Michael, thank you. I know you get a million things to get on to. I'll get all the follow-up information to you that the people have posted, and as we discussed previously, I'll get that information out to you so you and your team can work through answering all the questions and all that. thank you so much, Michael, for for helping me out with this program. You did an amazing job today, and hopefully we'll be able to work something out to get you back on the program down the road a little bit. Otherwise, guys, thank you again for joining today's program. I'm going to go ahead and log off at this time. I will leave the platform open for just about another probably 6 to 8 minutes, just to be able to give you guys one last chance to go ahead and post any additional questions that you want answered into the Q&A section, or to go ahead and, if you'd like one of those strategy session requests, one of those free coaching sessions, experience what coaching can do for you in your business, go ahead and post that request in Q&A. Please also let us know the best phone number and email address for reaching, so our team can reach you to schedule one of those strategy sessions. All right? Thanks again, Michael.